2016, the Chinese President visit, Xi Jinping visit, the Bangladesh declares the relations will be the strategic partnership level they have elevated. But recently we are hearing that with Japan, Bangladesh also want to elaborate as a strategic partnership level. Do you think the Bangladesh government have changed any mindset about the scenario, the geopolitical scenario in the global scene? Has Bangladesh has more giving the importance with Japan or the Indo-Pacific strategy or the economic what is this called Indo-Pacific economic framework? Is there any possibility to joining this strategic partnership? What they are saying that they want to leverage this partnership with Japan as a strategic one.
No, we need to elevate our partnership to a new height, no doubt about it. In light of the development of our relationship, we have seen over the last 8 years. 8 years ago, back in 2014, so we established a comprehensive partnership on the occasion of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's visit to Japan in May 2014. So over the last 8 years, we have seen the steady progress of our economic relations, trade, investment, expansion. Number of Japanese companies here increased. So we see the new depth of economic partnership. Then we would be in a position to discuss the start of joint study of economic partnership agreement. So this will have a new strategic dimension. And then, I think an important thing is because of the Bangladesh's economic development, Bangladesh's stability, policy consistency. So now Bangladesh's stature in the region being enhanced.
Yes.
Okay. So
being enhanced, and your role in the region, you are now playing a larger role in the region. So that's why I think we will have partnership in strategic dimension as well. So I think because of the Bangladesh's development, because of the Bangladesh's increasing stature in the region, so there is even more reason for us to talk about the elevation of our partnership to a new height.
do you think because of the new outlook, what you are saying, the Bangladesh is becoming the geopolitically important player because economic and other issues. So recently, your remarks on the on the Bangladesh's elections that you know the controversy has risen because the government thought that it is an internal affairs of Bangladesh, but your remarks was it sounds similar like the United States or other European countries, they are openly criticizing the quality of the elections, but in Japan or China or neighboring India, never seen this free and frank opinion. But this time you have given this. Do you think this is in line with the Americans' voice or your partners' voice you have raised? The recent controversy.
No. I think I'm representing my own country.
So
I didn't criticize this country at all. I just provided my view, expecting that the general election next year or early 2024 will be better election, free and fair election. So that is our strong hope and expectation. The next one will be free and fair and participatory election.
But you have mentioned the last election or in the previous night voter rigging and etc. Which government? I think the government has discussed with you about your remarks on the election quality. Did government as because the foreign office said they have discussed about these issues with you?
I just registered my hope and expectation. So that is the only thing I really wanted to stress.
Yes.
But the important thing is next election will be better election.
Yes.
So I think your government can do to make next election a better one. So free, fair, participate. So that is my hope and expectation.
That's true.
And in light of what election commission is doing, and in light of the the preparations underway, so I'm sure that next one is going to be a better election. But
I think if you have discussed with BNP as well, the government and the election commission, what you are saying that the next election will be better?
and I don't think I should disclose what I talked with political parties or election commission. But my hope is that next one will be better, and next one will be free and fair and participatory election.
So how Japan will cooperate Bangladesh in the enormous challenge facing Bangladesh in the future days are coming, in the greater trade and investment flows, transfer of technology, fighting climate change, sharing experience in developing skill. Those are the main challenges Bangladesh is facing in the days are coming. How Japan will come forward with this to face these challenges.
So
And also one of the big issues which is very, very tough for Bangladesh, and that is the Rohingya crisis. What is the Japan's role at this moment? Because it's a very tough thing, it's very complex things at this moment, this day. Burmese government is not very willing, despite the putting pressure on the international community.
Human resources development in Bangladesh is very important. This is a critical area. You need to work on, and we stand ready to extend our cooperation. So in a way, the software of economy is very important. Human resources development, institutional building. So those are very important areas you need to deal with to bring about further acceleration of economic growth and to make the most of the population dividend of this country. You have a young population, but soon your working age population will be less than half of the entire population. You have only 10, 12 years to go. So, within a decade, you really need to provide opportunities of skills development, education for young force, so that those young labor force will be ahead of the curve of technological development. That's a challenge, but that's something Bangladesh need to cope with. So Japan will be willing to extend cooperation to this human resources development area, institution building area, particularly in the manufacturing sector, industrial development. You talked about the Rohingya crisis.
Right.
This is a very, I think, difficult issue right now. But first of all, we really would like to commend the efforts done by Bangladesh. You took very humanitarian gesture.
Right.
At the beginning, you opened up the border and you allowed them in and you provided the shelter for Rohingya refugees. But 5 years have passed after the influx of large number of people from Myanmar. So this issue or this crisis has been a very big burden for you.
Yes.
So we understand the level of frustration your government, your politicians, your officials, people in the host community have. So we will try our best to alleviate your burden in dealing with this crisis. So first and foremost, important is the repatriation to create enabling environment for repatriation. As part of such effort, Japan has been taking opportunities to send messages to military junta Myanmar. So 3 points we are telling them: stop violence, release all those detained, restore the democratic process. So with the improvement of situation inside Myanmar, in particular Rakhine State. I think there will be an enabling environment. That sort of effort can be instrumental in enabling environment of repatriation, but it may take time. So in parallel to this, the critical thing is to improve the situation inside the camp as well as Cox's Bazar. Refugee population need to lead purposeful life rather than sit and idle. So on this vein, three things are important: education, skills development, livelihood opportunities, both in Cox's Bazar camp and Bashan Chao. So Japan will continue to provide assistance for that. Japan was the first country which funded UN operation in Bashan Chao in January. So we provided funding in January, we provided funding in August, and last week we signed the agreement with UNFPA. So UNHCR, WFP, UNFPA, so those three organizations we have already funded. So we will continue this. But if you look at the total contribution to Rohingya operation this fiscal year, our funding is going to be larger than last year's. So under the economic crisis, global basis, the Ukrainian situation, in spite of all of those, Japan is going to increase its funding to operation in Cox's Bazar and Bashan Chao compared to last year. So I think that is the demonstrating the Japan's commitment towards Rohingya issue. The resolution of Rohingya is very critical for the peace and stability and prosperity of entire region.
So my last question is what what the two countries is doing for the post-COVID recovery and also the global economic crisis because of the war in Ukraine. So
It's because of the Russian aggression over Ukraine.
Russian
Now
operation
the economic crisis is all over the world.
Yes.
So peace process needs to be in place sooner rather than later. And we all are struggling, so we need to get out of the tunnel as early as possible. Under COVID situation, Japan, for the first time, provided budget support to Bangladesh. So we did that in the fiscal year 2020 and 2021. So now that Bangladesh government requested us to do budget support for the third consecutive year, so my government is looking at the possibility.
How much money?
We don't know the scale yet. We don't know the timing yet. But we are looking at the possible
in terms of
contribution.
dollar? In terms of dollar,
No, we don't know the scale yet. But the following your agreement with IMF, which is 4.5 billion US dollars in 42 months.
Yes.
So I think we are looking at the possibility of cooperating with Bangladesh further.
With the bilateral basis.
Bilateral basis from JICA.
From JICA, that's great. So do you have anything to say more about, because you are about to ending your missions in Bangladesh?
I'm about to complete my assignment here in Bangladesh. So, those 3 years have been really enjoyable assignment. So I really want to thank Bangladesh friends and people, my interlocutors in the government and other part of the society. So this was challenging, but at the same time very much rewarding. I can say that Bangladesh is the best place to work as Japanese ambassador.
So you are now joining the Japanese Foreign Ministry?
I'm going back to Tokyo. Then I'll be ambassador in waiting for the next assignment.
Next assignment. So what do you hope for future of Bangladesh as the friends of Bangladesh, because you have did a very wonderful work here. So you have the expectation about the future of Bangladesh. What do you wish?
Bangladesh is steady development, towards the future. So you have a huge potential of economic development. You really need to embody, fulfill this potential. That is very important. But to that end, Japan.
What are the challenges you have in the fulfilling this economic agenda? Do you have any
No, we
challenge?
discussed human resources development, institution building, this regulatory reform, structure reform. Challenges are there.
Enormous.
But I'm sure that Bangladesh will be able to cope with those challenges because there is no option but to address and get over those challenges. But I believe that Bangladesh people are capable of doing that. Bangladesh should deserve better than this. But knowing this, I can say Japan will continue to stand by Bangladesh in its development journey. So we'll go to the end until the day you fulfill this father of the nation's dream, Sonar Bangla.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
আর লাস্ট কথা আছে